Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Olivia's Blooms. Today I am going to do something a little different, and I wanted to do a little kind of documentation of the different zinnias that I grew this year. And some people might think that's incredibly boring, which is totally fine. For me, I have been starting to watch more videos of Dahlia and Zinnia breeders and just kind of find the little details and the differences in the plants and the flowers so interesting. And so I started looking at my own garden and the variety and diversity of the flowers that I have right here in my backyard, and wanted to share that with you. One, just in case you find it interesting as well. But two, if you're interested in growing these flowers, I think it's great to see kind of what you might get, especially if you're only gonna grow one or two plants with some of these mixes. I'm specifically gonna be talking about the queen lime mixes. There's a lot of variety even within the same mix. And so if you're only gonna grow one or two plants, you never know what you might get. So the first one I'm gonna start with is Queen Lime Red, and I'm gonna do my best to try and capture all of the different colors and shapes. And one more thing I'll say is it's pretty late in the season right now. Some of my zinnias are starting to get powdery mildew or just not doing great. They're a little tired. Some of these blooms I'm going to show you also are aged, but they're the best example that I have of, you know, that color or that form. So I still think though it's worth documenting, and I still have tons of beautiful zinnias to look at. So let me grab some of the Queen Lime Reds. Okay, here's kind of a good look at the variety of Queen Lime Reds that I have seen. Now let me take some of these individually. So, oh, this one's a little bit dehydrated, but some of them have been a very hot red, and these especially are very fluffy. These aren't great examples, especially because this one's dehydrated, but I've been using these in some of my fall arrangements, and I'll put some pictures up if I can. But with the Queen Lime Reds though, I also have been getting more of these dusty pink, and let me hold it up next to this so you can kind of see the difference. So this is more of like a dusty pink, and then it gets even lighter. So look at this one right here. This is almost like a grayish pink, and some of them have more red centers and some of them have more pink centers. Let me see if I can give you a good example of a pink center. I don't know if the lighting is great here. And look at this one, it almost like is glowing, which you're gonna hear me say about a lot of these. And then some of them, here's just another example of the dusty pink. Some of them have been more purple. And, oh wait, look at this pink center, very pink center there. Some of them have been more purple, and I don't see any good examples of that, but I'll definitely put a picture up because I have some pictures of the purpley ones. And so lots of different ways. I mean, I've put these in with oranges and yellows, some of the more hot colors. I've put these in with pinks and whites, and I am definitely going to be growing the Queen Lime again because the variety and the colors are just stunning and go with so many different things. Now, I will mention for all of my zinnias, they've been receiving the same amount of fertilization and for the most part the same soil because I haven't planted any of these in the raised beds, but they are in different areas of my garden. Some might be receiving a little bit more sun than others, but almost all of them are in, well, all of them are in full sun. So I don't think there's a huge difference in the amount of sun that they're getting. And these are from probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, I have about 5 different plants. So that's the variety you'll get with just 5 plants. All right, one more look. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay, here's a more purple version of the Queen Lime Red I was telling you about. Beautiful color. Okay, the next one I want to show you is the Queen Lime with Blush. Some people call it Queen Lime with Blotch, and I don't know if those are two different varieties or not. I'll have to double check the one I have and put it up on the screen. But I have gotten, they're mostly very lime with, some of them have bright sort of fuchsia centers. Some of them have more open, this one is not double, but if you can see it has sort of a blushy, and this one's somewhat aged, but blush center with lime green tips. So pretty, almost looks like a unicorn kind of coloring. And then I have one plant with these, oh, beautiful, probably my favorite version, sort of antique pink, and I have a much better picture I can show you. Very full, very fluffy. This bloom is actually like a week and a half old, and look at how well it's holding up. One of my favorites, and just a very, very light dusty pink. Here's another one with a very bright center and some with more kind of faded centers. And these are pretty, but I haven't been using them quite as much as some of my others. Even though I will say this lighter lime green color is a great accent in some of my pink bouquets. I haven't been using these really as focal flowers. Oh, and here's another version of the Queen Lime Blush. Really, really pretty. Okay, these have been really, really fun. These are my Queen Lime Orange. And again, it's really hard to see in this lighting, but I found tons of variety in this one. So I have one plant with these big double, and they're like creamsicle colors to me. Like so big and fluffy. I love these. And then I have some that are almost like this dark, two-layered, but not quite as fluffy, two-toned orange, darker in the center and opens up to the light tips. This one is a darker orange, smaller form, but really fun to tuck in. And then I have a very dark orange, almost red plant. And you can see it changes from darker red in the middle to a lighter tip. And I love all of these different versions of it. One more orange to show you. All right, the next one I want to show you is Queen Lime Peach. And maybe not immediately obvious, but also lots of variety in these I found. They range from this sort of, and this is probably my favorite coloring of it, but like an apricot, light apricot, with that two-layered form, to a darker yellowish, and this one's smaller flower, but more of that double form, almost bordering on orange. This is a really, these aren't quite as open as I could have picked them, and they'll probably open up more, but these are more of like a medium yellow. And really enjoying these. Here's a more aged bloom. So, and what I love about the Queen Limes too is they all go together in a bouquet. I mean, depending on what else you put in the bouquet, maybe not necessarily, but. So that's the Queen Lime Peach. So another mix that I'm growing are the Zinderellas. This is Zinderella Peach. And I want to show you a few things here. So I think pretty obviously you can see some variety in the form. This is what I was expecting out of the Zinderella Peach, a very fluffy center. So I have one plant doing that, and sometimes Even on one plant, the form can change over time, either as the plant gets older and more established, or just as the flowers themselves age. But I also have more, this one that's showing more pink. Right here, you can see I have another example of a flower from that plant. So different in coloration and form there. This plant, I love the form of. The petals are very, very ruffly. I love this one. I only have one of the Zinderella Peach doing this. And again, you can see the kind of color. This one is very two-toned colors. You can see the difference in the coloring of the centers too. I have one very small plant with the one plant that has very small flowers and these sort of downturned petals. This one I've been finding is harder to work with. The heads are less stable. And then here's one, this is aged, but some of the lighter peach tones that I'm getting. So definitely variety of, my dogs are going crazy. Variety of colors here. Okay, and here's the other Zinderella flower I'm growing. This is Zinderella Lilac. Again, a lot of variety in form and color. So let me show you a few of them close up. This is more what I was expecting. Again, the fluffier centers. This is probably my fluffiest flower. And here's another one that's been giving me some fluffy flowers. And I'll say the Zinderella Lilac, I'm getting the majority of them are singles, and I can show you when we go outside, which is a little disappointing. I'm not sure if that's a function of where I have the plants or the seed itself, but I did want to show you the difference in color too. And I actually, the Zinderella Lilac, I do have one of these in my raised beds, and that one, the color is a lot deeper pinkish purple. You can see here the difference in color. And a lot of small flowers off of this one too. I'm not getting quite as big flowers. And again, here you can see sort of the variation in colors from the Zinderella Lilac. I am also growing some Benary's Giants. Not as much variation in those, but I'll show them to you. These are a very, very easy focal flower, and I have about 4 plants of the purple. I have some that are more single and some that are more double, and you can see the difference there. Not a ton. These are pretty uniform in color, although I do have one that I wish I could show you that has purple centers that match almost exactly the flower itself, and it's stunning. So this is Benary's Giant Purple. And then I have a couple plants of the coral. Now these blooms are, some of these are very aged, but again, pretty uniform. Some of them are more double. These are my aged blooms, so they don't look wonderful, but, and some of them are more single. And then I have a couple just lime zinnias, which I have actually been really, really enjoying. This one plant here has a very light, almost white center, and it's such a nice accent. I find myself actually using this a ton. And here's another one that's just a smaller version, but this is the just straight lime zinnia. So pretty. If you guys are interested, I have a ton of different snapdragons I'm growing too, and I could do a video on those if people like this format. So now I'm going to take you outside in this chilly morning and show you in some more natural light what some of these flowers look like. Can't help but put an update in here of this hyacinth bean vine. It just continues to grow. Okay, we'll start with my zinnias here in front of my deck. This is where I have my 2 coral plants. So you can see here, this one's not quite open. I like to let them open up a little bit more. This is mostly a good representation of what I've been getting off these plants. Hi, Chase. Here's one of the Queen Lime blush, and you can see much better out here that vibrant pink center. Queen Lime blush plant. Here's the Queen Lime Peach. You can see it really well next to the Queen Lime blush here. Let's see if I can get them both together. The difference in color there. Hi, Chase. What you doing? You helping me? Good boy. Another Queen Lime Peach. And here is one of the beautiful oranges. Something else I love about the orange, this is one of the darker ones, is the very dark stems. They're just beautiful. Okay, so that's my zinnias over here. Now let's go take a look. My zinnias on this side. These get full sun. And I just randomly planted the mixes. I didn't really label them or arrange them in any specific way. You can see the dark stems on the Queen Lime Red again, and this one is almost like an orangish red, definitely more on the hot side. And then right next to it, I have this dusty pink. Oh, I love that coloring. So again, you can sort of see them side by side. 2 plants, same conditions right next to each other, same treatment. So look at that dusty pink, my helper. Over here I have another Queen Lime blush. And now we'll go to the other place where I have zinnias. That is all the way on this side, all along this edge here. This one is another of the Queen Lime Reds. That's more of the dusty pink. And a very red center on that one. This Queen Lime blush, not quite open enough. This is one of my Queen Lime oranges down here. This is the plant that I am getting. Well, actually, this is 2 plants. So this plant is very light pink. Both of these are very full formed. Let's see a good example down here. Just stunning blooms. And this plant is the one where I'm getting more of that antique-y pink. It's changed a little bit. I think it was looking more dusty pink earlier in the season. Beautiful. We're not here for dahlias, but here's some dahlias. So maybe I'll do a dahlia tour as well. Here is where I have my Zinderella Peach. And again, these plants are all right next to each other, and you can see a lot of the difference. This one's very light colored. A little bit darker color there, and apologies for the sun. Here is a more fluffy version. Here is that ruffly one that's probably my favorite. Oh, I love this. Here's some of my Zinderella Lilacs here. And the sun is a little bit challenging right here, but I'm getting mostly these smaller single flowers. Let's see if I can get it in the sun there. Still beautiful, but a little harder to work with. There's some that are more aged out. Let's see if I can get back here and show you this beauty. And then back here are where I have some more of my Benary's Giants. And these, I think, are tall because they're Benary's Giants. They're also not getting quite as much sun, but they still get a lot of sun. And here's the lime you can see, and I just picked through the purple, so not a lot to show you here. These I'm finding are taking a very long time to open up. Let's see if I can show you. Very pretty. Last but not least are the Zinderella Lilacs in my raised beds I have here with my strawberries. Now these are very, very pink. You can see that pink center there. I find that color very beautiful too. It's just interesting how soil can potentially change the coloring of your flowers. And this is very different soil here in the raised beds than in my garden. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the different zinnias and what you can expect if you're going to grow these. And even in your conditions, they might look very different. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I hope you had as much fun looking through my zinnias today as I did. Thanks. Are you enjoying the sounds that my dogs are making in the background?